Hello! Today we'll be learning how to do good in an interview. I have learned from both my high school and more recently my first year college experiences that having good interview skills is a necessity. In high school, I learned that these skills were important when I interviewed for my first job. Moving forward onto college, my interviewing skills were valued tremendously when I received the Welch Innovation Scholarship. I believe that learning the proper way of interviewing is needed greatly in life, and now we will be discussing in the next slides how to do this. So first, here's my title page, how to do good in an interview. Next, we will be learning what to do in an interview, and then secondly, after this, we'll be learning what not to do in an interview. So getting started on what to do in an interview. The first thing that I put is practicing nonverbal communication. Basically, the examples of this that I listed were eye contact. Having good eye contact with the person that you're interviewing is really great because it's showing that you're paying attention and showing that you're listening to what they're saying and you're, making good nonverbal communication. Standing/sitting up straight. This one is an important one, I think, because, it's gonna seem like you're bored and tired when you're sitting there, but when you're sitting up straight like this, you're showing that you're perked up, you're listening, and the such. Having a firm handshake, that definitely displays a great bit of confidence, so you definitely want to practice all of the examples that I listed for nonverbal communication. Dressing appropriately, what I put for this is try to follow the dress code of the company or something of the sort. Say you're going to go to school to have an interview or something like that. You just want to dress business casual. You don't want to dress to the point where it looks like you're going to homecoming or prom. But yeah, dress good, dress appropriate for an interview. On third on the list is listening/paying attention. I think these are both the most important ones on this what to do list. The reason why I say this is because it presents the person interviewing with the opportunity of displaying good communication skills. So if you're listening and retaining all the knowledge that they have said so far and you're paying attention, it gives you the chance to, when you do ask questions, it shows that you listened, you took what they had to say in, and you're asking them about it. So it definitely displays good communication skills. And when you're in an interview, you want to make sure you're displaying all of the positive qualities that you have. So that's one thing to note. Using appropriate language. This is basically common sense, but you want to make sure you're being professional when you're in an interview. And if you're not being professional, more than likely they are not going to hire you, or they're not going to give you the scholarship, or they're not going to give you acceptance into the school. So you want to make sure that you are doing what you can to be the most professional you can be. Lastly, asking questions. I think asking questions is a great one because it's showing that you are interested. It's showing that you are involved in the conversation and the interview that you are having. It just shows a lot, and I think that's one of the most important ones as well, aside from listening and paying attention. Going on now, we will be talking about what not to do in an interview. Yeah, so I have this here, what not to do in an interview. Some examples I put for this one is avoiding eye contact. So when you avoid eye contact with the person that you're interviewing, it really, really sets the tone off. It can be a misinterpretation of that you have weakness, or you're lying, or you're not confident, and you really don't want to display that. You want to display most of the positive qualities about yourself, not the ones that are negative and that need a lot of work. Being late and being too early is two things you don't want to do in an interview. Now you may be wondering why is being too early such a problem? I remember one time I showed up to my job interview 20 minutes early, and I was like, these people probably think I look really desperate. So you don't want to give off the impression that you're desperate because you just don't want to give that off. And then being late, obviously, that's not a good thing at all because you want to make sure you're on time. 5 minutes early is good, but being 5 minutes late, it really shows that you're not responsible, you're not accountable, you're not reliable, and that basically the interview is not important to you at all. It's not important for you to be there on time. So you really want to show that the interviewing person that you think is important by being early. So yeah, and not being late. Thirdly, being distracted. I think the biggest distraction you could possibly have in an interview is your phone. So when you go into an interview, make sure that your phone is on silent and that your phone is not on your mind. You want to make that person who's interviewing know that they are the center of your attention, and yeah. Don't talk too much. Talking too much can come off as annoying, and you don't want that at all. Come unprepared. Now, coming unprepared is like literally shooting yourself in the foot. It's a guaranteed way of not getting what you want to be interviewed for. So if you're going to interview for a job and you didn't prepare, you're not going to get that job because you've come unprepared and you're probably nervous, you don't know what to say, and I think it's just a self-sabotage thing to do when you are going to interview. And then lastly, looking bored. If you look bored during an interview, they probably will not hire you at all because they're like, wow, these people are very bored with what I'm saying. They don't want to pay attention. They're just not showing any interest. I think those are probably a good list of things not to do in an interview. And yeah. Lastly, these are just some tips and tricks. It's to-dos and what not to-dos in an interview. And yeah. Thank you for listening, and thank you for taking the time out to watch.